what about the move to Atlanta? What prompted that? Why leave LA?
Brendan was from Atlanta, and he had small kids and wanted to raise his kids in Atlanta.
So you kind of just...
I followed.
Yeah, okay.
And it was funny because he moved to Atlanta with his family. I was still sort of LA, Atlanta, because I was single, and it was easy for me to bounce around. And when I finally made the move, okay, I'm getting an apartment in Atlanta, this is where I'm going to live. We were in LA for 6 months. So it's just how it happens.
It doesn't make sense, does it?
It doesn't, but you know, it all worked out.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, absolutely. Well, let's move on to some more of your recent projects. Let's talk about Gaslight Anthem.
Gaslight was great. I hadn't engineered a record for Brendan because I just started producing more stuff, and he was always very generous with his time for me to produce things. But at some point, you know, when you're someone's engineer, you have to be there all the time, 24/7, and it just got to a point where it wasn't working out that way. So I had kind of gone off, and we hadn't done anything for about 1.5 years or 2 years, and he had called me up, and I'm not really sure what the circumstances were, other than he just wanted to make a record with me again, and I certainly wanted to make one with him again, and it didn't hurt that the guys were from New Jersey, the band, so I had immediate connection with them.
Yeah, of course.
There's sort of a Jersey thing that you can take the guy out of Jersey, but you can't take the Jersey out of the guy.
Absolutely.
So, but that record was really fun. I just think they're a great band. Everything about that band is what I love about bands. It's great songs, great lyrics, and I think the band, as good as they are individually, really shine as a band. They're bigger than they are as a band than they are as individual parts, which, you know, that's the story with most great bands. That's why you do it.
Absolutely. Now let's have a chat about your move to Byron Bay. What prompted that? Was that a? Don't tell me Brendan's involved again.
No, he's not involved in that one. Other than he wished me luck.
Yeah.
And he wants to know how close I am to the beach, so when he comes over to visit. But
just take the photo.
That's right. You know what? I think I came here the first time in '98 with Powderfinger, and I've been wanting to get back ever since. So it's been a pretty much me trying to get back here ever since. I just love it here. There's something about the place and the people that I really connect with, and you know, the opportunity a few years ago, I was here working on another Powderfinger record, and then I just started the discussion with 301 about if they wanted me here, and if we could work something out, and it worked out. So we're both really excited with what's happened so far, and we're basically I just want to make great records. They're a really great studio with a great track record already, and I think it's going to be great for all of us.
Absolutely. Now, tell us a little bit more about the panel discussion.
I'm going to find out about that in about 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, that's what everyone said. They're like, you know what? I'm just going to walk in and.
I don't really. The title is. I think it's making.
I think making better records.
Making records that matter. I believe is the title.
Sorry,
which
pardon me. Yeah.
It's a little presumptuous to sit on a panel and say that you make records that matter, or you know how to make records that matter.
Well, I mean, I don't think that you don't appear to be the type of gentleman that would ever say that about yourself. But going by the track record of what your CV is pretty large, and they're all quite impressive records that do matter. So I guess
you know what I think. I think every record that you do matters a lot to you. Now, it obviously matters a lot to the band. It should matter a lot to whoever the producer and engineer are, because that's your work, and you want it to be representative of what you do. And also, if you didn't love it, you wouldn't have been cleaning toilets and making coffee and all that other stuff. So there's a sense of pride, and you just want to be making great music. So the records matter, and a lot of times the record may not matter after it's released to the general public at large and a lot of people, but a lot of times those records really matter to the band if it's their first record. And it's enough, it's a great experience for them where they want to push themselves further. There's all kinds of things that can happen with a record that isn't necessarily commercially successful, but if it's done the right way for the right reasons, it can lead to other things.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things I was thinking about, I don't know, I've never sat on any kind of panel like that before, and this is my second or third interview, I think, officially.
Wow.
Since I got to Australia, because I never did them in the States.
Yeah, okay.
But I think the panel, if it comes up, the thing I like to think about is listening to the records before the record that matters. So you take a record like OK Computer, which really mattered for Radiohead. And it mattered, I think it's an amazing record. If you listen to the Bends, the previous record, there's an inkling of what's to come. And a lot of people, that they actually like that record better. But you can tell between the first record and that record, there's a huge jump. And you can tell that they're about to do something great. And with hindsight, when you listen to the Bends, you can hear what's coming. I like to think so anyway. And there's a lot of records like that going further back. Well, Springsteen's a great example. The Wild and the Innocent and the E Street Shuffle, which preceded Born to Run. All those themes and the grandness and the epicness of what Born to Run became, it's all on there. It's not presented in the same way, and it wasn't nearly as successful until later. Or I don't think it's ever been as successful as Born to Run, but you just see it happening. And I think that's exciting when you look at bands, and sometimes I get approached by bands to work with them, and I listen to their records up to that point, and what I wanted, what I hope to do is catch them on that preceding record, and then I'll be involved in the record that is the one that really matters to them and to a lot of people and matters to their career.
Well, that's sage advice. It's
well, thanks.
It's very interesting. I've you know, I guess respectively, a lot of people don't ever really look deep into the production or the engineering side of music. For a lot of people out there that are a consumer, music is just music. They don't understand that.
And it should be. I mean, you know, music without an emotional connection, no matter how great the snare drum is, it's not going to matter. It really isn't going to matter. I mean, you want a great sounding snare drum, and I imagine that a not great sounding snare drum can turn people off to a record, but a great snare drum alone is not going to make people excited about a record. They usually connect with either the vocal or they connect with the band and the vocal, the song, you know, all that stuff. The sound is there to support all that stuff. But without the emotional connection, I don't think that, you know, none of the technical, and a lot of times I think the technical part shouldn't be noticed. There was a great quote I read from, it was actually from Robert Fripp of King Crimson, wrote this about the Beatles. He said, the first time you listen to the Beatles record, you sing the melody. The 6th or 7th time you listen to the lyrics, and the 20th time you hear the guitar panning left to right. And I think that's a really good way to look at what music production should be. It really should be about the song and the melody first. The other cool things that happen underneath should be discovered as it goes, but it should never get in the way.
I think we should leave it at that, Nick. That's fantastic.
All right, great.
Thank you very much for joining us here on Industry Insider and giving us your time here at BigSound for 2012. It's been fantastic. Now, if anybody wants to go check out the studios that you operate out of down in Byron Bay, it's studios301.com. I'm guessing. If I get it wrong, we'll make sure we put up the right address, but I'm pretty sure that's the one.
I'm drawing. Yeah, I think it's Studios 301.
Yeah.
I think that's how it's written.
And,
Forgive me.
Yeah, that's all right.
Forgive me, Studios 301.
Nick, thank you very much for joining us here.
Thanks.
And,
It's a pleasure.
mate, if we're ever down in Byron, we might pop in and
Come on.
we'll bring some beers past.
You know
Show
what?
us how the studio works.
I can do that.
Excellent. All right, Nick DiDia here from Studios 301 here at BigSound 2012. We're on the rooftop of Limes Hotel and Bar, all brought to you by Jay Dillon.